Cadillac Space raised $5.4 million to scale full-stack space logistics. The startup, headquartered in San Francisco and operating out of Ahmedabad, is building a complete back-end infrastructure for orbital upmass and downmass logistics, which tackles the challenge of getting payloads both into and back from orbit in one seamless flow. According to the press release, this seed round, led by Outlander VC, marks a major push into the space logistics sector. But the reality is they're entering a crowded, capital-intensive domain where turnaround times and hardware reliability matter far more than flashy announcements. I can confidently say this will test more than their elevator pitch. A single re-entry capsule module in their orbital logistics stack that had been drop-tested from 14,000 feet and validated for recovery systems. Using that hardware validation and upcoming satellite bus plans, Cadillac Space targets to demonstrate a 50-kilogram class Cosmotron satellite bus in early 2026, which will expand their market beyond just payload drop tests. If you're a space hardware startup looking for growth, you've probably noticed investor focus shifting from pure launch to full lifecycle logistics and space services platforms, orbiting logistics, mission planning, and payload recovery. This changes how we think about satellite missions. Maybe. QFX raised €2.2 million to expand its quantum hardware platform. This UK-based startup, which spun out of University of Oxford and is headquartered at Begbroke Science Park, has developed a modular atomic source product for quantum computing, sensing, and secure communications. According to the announcement, they're delivering the next generation of quantum systems. The CEO, Dr. Timothy Balance, said. But the reality is, QFX is entering a very hot hardware space with well-funded incumbents, and I can confidently say the real challenge is scale, not design. A single compact atomic source module in Oxford that had been commercially released before the seed round. Building modular hardware for quantum systems is the next bottleneck in the industry. QFX targets that by enabling interoperable components across platforms, which will accelerate deployment of networked quantum technologies. If you're a quantum startup building hardware, you've probably noticed that investor expectations are rising and competition is intensifying, and that means being first to interoperable modules gives real advantage. See, sense, integrate. This isn't just quantum computing, it's quantum sensing and quantum secure comms. Scaling real quantum hardware, scaling real teams, and scaling real market impact. Angio Insight completed a $25 million Series A funding round to accelerate its AI-powered cardiovascular diagnostics platform. The startup out of Minnetonka, Minnesota, which develops the Angio AI software solution for diagnosing coronary artery disease and coronary microvascular disease, announced the investment along with the appointment of former Johnson & Johnson cardiovascular vet Shlomi Nachman to its board. According to the company, the new funding will support clinical evaluation and commercial launch of its platform that analyzes angiographic images to derive key physiological metrics like fractional flow reserve and coronary flow reserve in real time. But the reality is that while Angio Insight claims to be transformative, it's entering a crowded medtech AI market where regulatory hurdles, workflow integration, and clinician adoption will determine success. I can confidently say the toughest battle won't be the code but the clinical acceptance. A single software-only diagnostic tool in the interventional cardiology suite that had been developed but is yet to secure full regulatory clearance. Using this funding and new board expertise, Angio Insight aims to speed up validation of its technology and push into real-world clinical settings, which could shift how angiography is interpreted. If you're a cardiology device company or imaging AI startup, you've probably noticed that investor attention is now shifting towards software-only physiological assessment rather than hardware alone. And that means the rules of competition are changing. Diagnosing CAD, detecting CMD, and integrating AI with angiography. KCM raised $5 million to rebuild global immigration with AI. The Seattle startup, born from the AI2 incubator, is constructing an automation engine that handles everything from visa assessments to filings, replacing endless forms and human bottlenecks with algorithmic clarity. According to the announcement, Maverick Ventures led the round, joined by Metromuck, Success Ventures partners, and angels from the immigration tech and HR sectors. But the reality is they're entering a bureaucratic labyrinth disguised as an industry. I can confidently say their toughest problem isn't code, it's compliance. A single AI-driven platform in the immigration stack that had processed hundreds of candidate filings even before public launch. Using contextual AI models and licensed legal review, KCM claims to cut timelines from months to days, turning immigration from a passive process into a strategic advantage for employers. If you're an HR tech company or a law firm still running on spreadsheets and paralegals, you've probably noticed your moat just sprang a leak. visas, verification, velocity. ShopMy raised $70 million at a $1.5 billion valuation to scale its curated commerce infrastructure. The New York-based startup, which builds the full stack connecting premium brands, tastemakers, and consumers, launched from creator storefronts to a multi-curator ecosystem where human taste trumps algorithmic feeds. According to the press release, the round was led by Avenir, with support from Bain Capital Ventures, Bessemer Ventures Partners, and Menlo Ventures. But the reality is they're working in a crowded social commerce arena, and I can confidently say the harder fight will be turning platform momentum into durable defensibility. A single brand operating system platform in the creator economy stack that had processed over $1 billion in annual sales via 850,000 plus curators and 1,200 plus premium brands. Using that scale, ShopMy intends to deepen its product suite, accelerate international reach, and embed itself as the infrastructure layer for creator-led commerce across 130-plus countries. If you're a legacy ad tech or influencer platform, you've probably noticed your margin just got squeezed and your value prop just got questioned. Curate, engage, monetize human trust. Nscale raised $1.1 billion to build the backbone for global AI infrastructure. The London-based startup, which emerged from crypto mining roots and pivoted into full-stack AI data centers, is taking on a massive build-out of GPU farms and sovereign cloud platforms. According to its press release, the Series B was led by Aker ASA with participation from NVIDIA, Dell Technologies, and Nokia. But the reality is they're walking into one of the most competitive, cap-intensive, and energy-hungry segments of tech. I can confidently say the hardest part is keeping the lights on while the chips compute. A single hyperscale data center in northern Norway that had been acquired from their crypto mining past and was now being repurposed for AI jobs. Using massive GPU pipelines, renewable power sites, and a global footprint from Europe to North America to the Middle East, Nscale plans to deploy tens of thousands of AI processors and orchestrate AI factories for major customers. If you're a legacy colocation provider or a region-locked cloud builder, you've probably noticed your advantage is shrinking and your power bills are about to get literal. Compute capacity, power efficiency, and sovereignty. Yesterday, Immaterial raised £13.5 million to scale industrial decarbonization tech. The Cambridge-based advanced materials firm, which spun out of university research and specializes in monolithic metal-organic frameworks, is now commissioning a multi-ton manufacturing facility while preparing pilot systems with heavy industry partners. According to the announcement, the round was led by SLB and included AP Ventures, Mauve, and new backer Finindus, a JV of ArcelorMittal and the Flemish government. But the reality is they're tackling one of the hard-to-abate sectors with materials science. I can confidently say their big challenge isn't lab-proof, it's industrial scale, cost, and adoption. Using digital material discovery tools, wet AI synthesis, and tailored engineering, Immaterial aims to reduce capital expenditure and operating cost burdens in carbon capture, hydrogen storage, and HVAC systems, thereby making decarbonization more economically viable. If you're a legacy material supplier or incumbent carbon capture system builder, you've probably noticed your business model being nudged aside and your cost advantage under pressure. Capture materials, storage modules, scalable manufacturing. Honeycoin raised nearly $6 million to turbocharge cross-border stablecoin payments for Africa. The fintech startup, founded by David Nandois after his $5,000 payment was frozen by PayPal, is now processing more than $150 million in monthly transactions across 40 African markets. According to the report, the funding marks a major vote of confidence in blockchain-enabled remittances and wallet infrastructure. But the reality is the startup is racing into one of the most regulatory-intensive and capital-demanding fintech segments. I can confidently say the real battle will be licensing, compliance, and trust, not simply technology. A single emerging markets payment platform in Africa that had been born out of personal frustration with frozen funds and was built on stablecoin rails, processing hundreds of millions monthly. Using stablecoins for remittances, wallet issuance, and business treasury services, Honeycoin aims to make financial access cheaper, faster, and more inclusive than legacy banking models. If you're a traditional remittance provider or a Tier 1 bank relying on correspondent networks, you've probably noticed your efficiency gap widening and your value proposition eroding. Remittances, wallets, stablecoins. Shuttle raised $6 million to build the AI platform Engineer for Developers. The cloud infrastructure startup, which emerged from the Rust developer community, is now automating backend provisioning, configuration, and deployment with AI. According to the announcement, the round includes participation from Y Combinator, Global Founders Capital, and leaders from OpenAI, Deal, and Confluent. But the reality is they're entering a crowded developer tools market. I can confidently say the hardest part won't be the tech, but the developer trust. A single AI-native cloud platform in the backend is CodeSpace that had already surpassed 130,000 deployments and tens of thousands of users. Using integrations with GitHub Copilot, Cursor, and Claude Code, Shuttle aims to eliminate YAML, Terraform, and CI/CD pipelines by enabling plain language backend specifications. If you're a legacy IaaS provider or DevOps tool vendor, you've probably noticed your moat shrinking and your value proposition under pressure. Infrastructure, automation, developer experience. Neolix raised over $600 million to scale China's autonomous delivery revolution. The Beijing-based startup, which began with Level 4 L4 robovans, is now operating over 10,000 units across 300 cities, including Qingdao, where more than 1,200 units are active. According to the announcement, the Series D round was led by UAE-based Stone Venture, with participation from Gaocheng Capital, CITIC Capital, CDH, SparkEdge Capital, Beijing AI Fund, and a major internet platform. Existing investors, including Yankee Partners, also increased their stakes. A single robovan fleet in Qingdao that had completed over 1,200 deliveries in a single month, with each unit capable of more than 10 delivery cycles per shift. Using its proprietary Neolix VA Vision Action Foundation model, the company enables vehicles to navigate complex urban environments using advanced spatial reasoning and real-time decision-making. The fleet has collectively logged more than 50 million kilometers of L4 autonomous driving. If you're a traditional logistics provider or legacy delivery service, you've probably noticed your operational efficiency gap widening and your market share under pressure. Autonomous delivery, robovan as a service, urban logistics. Machezo Sports raised $2.5 million to build India's next-gen sports infrastructure. The Bangalore-based startup, founded by former professional tennis player Maharishi Sridhar, has completed over 350 projects for more than 175 clients across the country. According to the announcement, the pre-Series A round was led by Centercourt Capital, with participation from Rainmatter, the investment arm of Zerodha. But the reality is they're entering a fragmented and informal sector. I can confidently say the real challenge will be standardization, scalability, and governance. A single sports facility in Bangalore that had been designed and built to meet global standards set by federations such as FIFA, FIH, ITF, and World Athletics. Using a vertically integrated model, Machezo plans to expand into new infrastructure verticals, such as swimming pools and public sports facilities, and strengthen its distribution platform for sports construction materials and equipment. If you're a legacy infrastructure provider or a public-private partnership in the sports sector, you've probably noticed your competitive advantage under pressure. Athlete-centric design, formal governance, scalable infrastructure. Leju Robotics raised over $200 million to scale China's humanoid revolution. The Shenzhen-based startup, founded 9 years ago, has developed a diverse portfolio of robots from medical services, factory automation, transportation, and youth education. According to the announcement, the funding round is led by Greenwoods Asset Management, CITIC Goldstone, and Shenzhen Investment Holdings Co., among others. The company plans to use the funds to develop new robots and ramp up production ahead of a planned IPO. A single humanoid robot in Shenzhen factory that had been designed to assist with assembly line tasks, demonstrating the company's focus on practical applications. Using partnerships with tech giants like Huawei, Alibaba, and Haier, Leju aims to integrate its robots into various industries, from smart homes to AI-driven manufacturing. If you're a traditional automation provider or an incumbent in the robotic space, you've probably noticed your competitive edge narrowing and your market share under pressure. Humanoid robotics, AI integration, industrial automation. Amphor raised $8.5 million to revolutionize neuromodulation for depression. The Palo Alto-based neurotech startup, founded by neuroscientist Don Vaughn, has developed a portable camera-guided transcranial magnetic stimulation (TMS) system designed for clinical and home use. According to the announcement, the oversubscribed seed round was led by Nexus Neurotech Ventures, with participation from Satori Capital, Morningside Ventures, Continuum Health Ventures, and the Zabara Foundation. A single FDA-cleared device that had been designed to treat major depressive disorder (MDD) and treatment-resistant depression (TRD) by stimulating targeted brain regions. Using a lightweight, user-friendly platform, AMPA aims to make advanced brain stimulation more accessible and effective, with a nationwide rollout initiated in October 2025. If you're a legacy antidepressant manufacturer or a legacy TMS provider, you've probably noticed your market share under pressure and your treatment paradigms being challenged. Neurostimulation, portable therapy, depression